Hello everyone and welcome back. Today is the start of a brand new reading vlog and I'm so excited. I have such a fun idea for this video, and that is for a week or however long it takes me to get through these books, we are going to be reading books based on my favorite Winx Club characters.
Here we go, here we fly, sparkle wings way up high, with the rainbows and the stars align. Shine forever, we are the magical Winx.
I just love a good themed reading vlog, and I'm just now kind of getting into them, and Winx Club is one of my favorite TV shows. I watched it when I was little. I still watch it now. Had wanted to do something kind of like this for a while, and then I got some really pretty books that were kind of whimsical and magical, and the idea just kind of popped in my head. I'm like, well, let's do a Winx Club themed reading vlog, and so that's what we're doing. So I have 4 books that I want to read in this vlog, and they are based on 3 of my favorite Winx Club characters. We have Bloom, Stella, and Flora, and the way that I picked out these books was really just based on I wanted them to be pretty, preferably with sprayed edges and just like really pretty magical covers, and then I wanted something in the title to correspond with the Winx Club characters' power. So first off, for Bloom, we have A Flame and Fury by Michaela Bridge. I just thought this was such a pretty cover, and then Bloom is the fairy of the dragon Flame, and so Flame. I wish this was about dragons. I would have made it perfect, but this is actually about phoenixes. For Stella, fairy of the shining sun, we have the Sun and the Star Maker. I am probably the most excited, or I think definitely the most excited to read this one. This is by Rachel Griffin. And then for Flora, Flora is actually my like top favorite Winx character, and I was really struggling on what I wanted to pick for her, and then I found this duology, and I just decided to read both of them in this video because this is the book that I really wanted to pick for her. I felt like this cover was just very her, but this is actually the second book in this duology, so I am going to read this one first. But this is the Scorpion and the Night Blossom and the Dragon and the Sun Lotus. This is called, I think, the Three Realms duology. This book actually just came out, I think this week or last week. I'm trying to think of like fun little fairy-esque things we could do on some of the days, just like little activities here and there to make this video even more Winx Club-esque. And then obviously we're gonna have to watch some Winx Club episodes. I think my favorite season is, or seasons, are 7 and 8. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure those are my favorite seasons. You can pretty much watch all seasons of Winx Club for free on YouTube, which is what I always do, and I especially always love to watch it going into the spring and summer because it's just, again, so bright and fun and colorful. One of the activities that I want to do is that my sister is actually in Hawaii right now, and she has a P.O. box that we can send her letters, which I think would be really fun. We can text her and FaceTime her, but she had kind of requested that we send her some letters, and so one of our whimsical activities is going to send her a really cute note because I have some really cute accessories. Where are my stamps? I just got these Dahlia stamps. How cute are those? I went to the post office specifically asking for these, and then all of these postcards that I have are vintage Polaroids, and so I thought I could find like a beach one to send her. Oh my gosh, look at this one. That's actually perfect. And so I want to make it really cute and like use colored markers and decorate the envelope and do all that fun stuff. That's going to be our whimsical activity for the day. I'm going to get to writing this note and to reading, and then I'll check back in with you later. Okay, I finished my letter for Jenna, and that is all ready to send off to her. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I feel like it's just very colorful and a little sporadic with the colors, but I think it looks really cute. I think she'll enjoy it. So it is time to start my first book. And so our very first fairy of the video is Bloom. And like I just mentioned, I picked out Of Flame and Fury for her. So our main character is Kel, and she has a Phoenix racing team called the Crimson Howlers, and something happens and they need to get a new rider, and so she has to join forces with someone named Coop, who is an arrogant rival she can't get out of her head. It says that she accepts a job from a mysterious tech mogul who shows an unsettling interest in her Phoenix Savita. So it's her Phoenix that they race, and then it says it thrusts Kel into a conspiracy that endangers everyone she cares about. Heart-pounding pages full of steamy romance and volatile magic. So we will see. I'm gonna start this and see how far I can get into it and just read for a little bit, and then I'll probably read more tonight before I go to bed, and I'll give you my first little update on this. Is a little later and I am about to head off to bed, and I wanted to give you a little update. So today I got about 60 pages read, and so we're really just getting the story set up. And one thing that kind of threw me off is that this book, this fantasy world, has modern day elements, and it's just really throwing me off for some reason. And it almost seems a little bit more dystopian, and so I went back and checked to see what it was tagged as, and it's not tagged as dystopian, it's tagged as fantasy. And it's so interesting because it says that it's in the year like 1509, which maybe it's just a different way of reading time in the book, but they have phones and they have tablets and they have TV and they have media, and it's just really throwing me off. So the book kind of starts off just like right at the beginning during a race. Like I said, this is about Phoenix racing, and we know from the inside flap that something happens to one of Kel's teammates and she has to partner up with this guy named Coop, and we're introduced to both of them pretty quickly, and they really don't like each other, and we haven't had any explanation as to why they don't like each other yet. And so I feel like there's so much tension, but I don't really understand the tension. But again, I'm only 60 pages in, so maybe that will come later, but it's interesting. The whole Phoenix racing aspect, I've never read anything like that before, so we will see. I am using my butterfly bookmarks. I feel like butterflies, flying, phoenixes, racing, it went with the book. So yes, I am heading off to the bookstore tomorrow. I will read more then, maybe have more to update you on. I might do a little bit more reading tonight, but yes, I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is a lovely day at the bookstore. It's almost noon. This morning I have just been trying to read in Of Flame and Fury. I don't have a ton of updates for you. I feel like I just kind of feel the same way, that I can't get over the fact that it's a fantasy, but it's set in a world where they have cars and some kind of phones and tablets. I kind of feel the same way. Don't have a ton of updates for you, but I'm just going to keep on reading into it. I have some new books releasing today, and so I need to put those out on our new releases table, which is right there. I don't think you can see it. And then I think I'm getting a delivery later today with a good amount of books, so I'll have to put those up, receive them, put them up. I actually have a book video that I filmed this weekend that I'm trying to edit and get uploaded by tomorrow, so I need to do a little bit of editing on that. That's the plan for today. Here are our two new releases for this week. We have, like I said, Lucy Score's new book and Rebecca Searle's new book. Lucy Score's book has sprayed edges. Beautiful. This is Rebecca Searle's new book, Once and Again. It's pretty small. I bet it's only like 300 pages, or no, 230 pages. We actually only have 3 copies of this one, and this is going to be our book club pick for April. So I might actually wait to purchase this, but I think I am going to go ahead and get Lucy Score's new book. It is now 6 o'clock, so I'm heading home for the night. I love the time change because it's still light outside. It makes me so happy. We ended up getting kind of busy at the store, so I did get a little bit read, and I got my video edited and exported. I just have to upload it tomorrow. That'll be ready to post. It's going to be my anticipated books for 2026 video, which you'll see before this one. But I got to page 110, and so I feel like I'll be able to read 90 pages tonight as long as I start reading early enough. We are finally getting to the part where she partners with the tech whatever, and so her and the team are going to a different part of their island to join this other team. I don't really know. I'm honestly struggling a little bit with this book, and we are at least making some leadway in the story, which I'm excited about. But yeah, hopefully things will start picking up a little faster. I am going over to my grandparents' house tonight. It's my night to spend with them. I think I'm actually going to head to the gym and do a little time on the elliptical and or treadmill, and then I'll head over to their house for dinner, watch Little Blue Bloods as always, and then yeah, I'll read tonight and I will talk to you tomorrow. Hi guys, it is a few days later now. I have not updated you in a little bit because I have been struggling through A Flame and Fury, and I really have not gotten a lot more read, and I think I need to switch some things up or it's going to take me forever to get through this book. So I think one of my biggest issues is that this book didn't have enough setup for me. I think a little bit of that could have been fixed with another POV. If we had been able to get Coop's POV in this book, I think the book would have really benefited from that, because there is this tension between Kel and Coop. They don't like each other, and it's almost like the author was trying to set up an enemies to lover situation, but I don't feel like I fully understand why they're enemies. I can tell that Kel thinks that Coop is reckless and Coop thinks that Kel is kind of self-righteous, but I don't know why they think that about each other. We just kind of came to the story being told that without any reasoning behind that, and so I think it's made it really hard for me to connect to the characters and honestly the world as well, because there are some aspects of the world that we get a lot of world building for, more about like the history of the world, but it's also so interesting because it feels and it reads more like a dystopian because the world is so modern. They have skyscrapers and phones and tablets. I don't know. I'm really confused on how I feel about this book, and I'm just really not enjoying reading it, and really the only reason I'm picking it up is because of this video, which is making me really not pick it up. And so what I think I've decided is that I'm gonna move on to my other book, but I'm going to listen to this on audio because they do have it on Spotify. I am able to get it on Spotify. And what makes me even more sad is that the cover of this book, and especially like the cover on Spotify, is so beautiful, and I really think this book had potential to be great, but I don't know if it's me or if it's the book or if it's both of us. We're just really not driving right now. So I'm going to switch over to listening to it, and then we are going to move on to our next book because I'm actually really excited about this book. I think it'll help me not to get into a slump. So our next week's character is Stella. For Stella's book, I chose The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin. I am really excited to read this book, which I'm really happy that I'm excited because I think I'll actually reach for this book and be ready to read it. This is such a pretty book. All these books are beautiful, and so if I don't like them, I'm gonna be sad because they are so pretty, but I think this book especially, just because it's kind of what kicked off this entire video, I love it. The sprayed edges, there's an illustration on the inside flap. The book itself is just beautiful, and so I'm hoping that I love it. I have really high hopes for this book. So this book is about our main characters, Aurora and the Star Maker. What I've deciphered from the inside flap is that the village runs on the power of the Star Maker, and I think Aurora is like set to be the next Star Maker, so she has to move into the castle and like learn how to care for the village, and I think it's gonna be a slight romance. Maybe the Star Maker and Aurora start to care for each other, and oh, so I'm just really excited. I hope I like it. So that's the update. I'm starting this book. I am switching over A Flame and Fury to audio, and hopefully that will help. It's really warm today, so I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna be able to read. So let's start The Sun and the Star Maker. Hi guys, it's a little later. I have gotten 70 pages into Sun and the Star Maker, and we've had a lot happen in the first little bit that's really set up the story. So our story opens up with Aurora, who is our main character. She is getting married. You can kind of tell from the beginning that she's getting married more out of a sense of comfort and maybe of duty to her family, because her family lives in a part of this town where hardly any light reaches. This town that relies on the Star Maker to bring light into the town, there are still like edges of it where they don't get a ton, and her family lives on that. And when you get married, you get what's called a glare line, so it almost like brings some light to your house. We get a little bit of background about Aurora's family, where her father passed away and it like destroyed her mother, and Aurora kind of had to take over the family and start taking care of everyone, and she's always just kind of felt like she didn't want a love that destroyed her like that. And so she has found this man to marry who she really enjoys his company, and she thinks that she loves him, but she is more just like, I like being around you and this is gonna help my family, so we're gonna get married. And she goes out on a walk in the woods and she sees a white deer, and she goes to shoot it with her bow and arrow, but then she decides against it because a man comes up behind her and stops her, and he was like, you can't kill this deer, it's my deer, whatever. He touches her and Aurora starts glowing, and it turns out that that man is the Star Maker, and when he touches Aurora, it shows that she is actually the next Star Maker. So the Star Maker is not a lineage of people, he's very gruff and he's very straight to the point, and he's like, okay, you're the next new Star Maker and you have to come live in the castle with me and learn how to do it and call off your wedding. And Aurora's like, what are you talking about? You have literally just come and upended my entire life. And so she tries to like fight against it. She doesn't believe it. She takes him back to her house and he's like, okay, come on, let's go to the castle. And she's like, whoa, you need to be a little nicer. She makes a bargain with him that he is going to heal her sister because her sister has gotten sick from not having enough sunlight, which is a really common thing to happen in this world. I think it's called the frost, is that what it's called? Like you get inflicted by the frost, and they've been trying to keep her warm and like heal her, and they thought the glare line was gonna help. And so she's like, okay, first with your magical powers you're gonna heal my sister and you're gonna marry me so that my family can still get their glare line. And the Star Maker's like, all right, fine, let's do it. And she says something about, even though it was a hard choice to make, she could live without her fiance, but she couldn't live without her sister. And yeah, now they're on their way to the castle, and that is where I left off. So I'm really liking both of our characters. I like how grumpy our Star Maker is, and I like how sweet Aurora is and how much she's fighting for her family. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I have decided that I'm going shopping today, and I'm going to go shopping at a town about 45 minutes away, which is why I've changed. And I am going to listen to A Flame and Fury on my way there and on my way back, and then as much as I'm driving around in between. So I'm hoping to get a good amount of that done today, and then I'll watch or I'll read this Sun and the Star Maker later tonight when I get back. But just wanted to update you. I'm gonna head out and do a little shopping, and I'm going to listen to A Flame and Fury on Spotify. Hello everyone, it is the next day. I finished up my shopping day and came home and read for a little bit last night, and I also listened to more of Flame and Fury on audio, and so I want to update you on that first. I am on chapter 34 and there are 54 chapters. I'm 67% the way through. Things have picked up in the story and I'm finally interested in the characters because things have actually progressed in their relationship. There was something happening between Kel and Coop, which are our two main characters, and we know from the beginning that they're supposed to like find attraction towards each other, but they didn't really talk. They just kind of bickered, and something happens and it forces them to have a conversation. There was something that happened that changed the trajectory of their racing that has kind of brought me back into the story. I am glad that this is a standalone and I will hopefully get some sort of closure by the end of this book. It hasn't been a horrible book. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a 3-star. I'm glad that it's finally picking up a little bit. I feel like it took too long to pick up, but I am a little bit more, I don't know if I'm excited to read it, but I'm dreading it less. So I feel like that's probably the best that we're gonna get, which is fine. And then let me grab Sun the Star Maker. All right, so I read to page 144 last night, which I would say I'm almost halfway through, and I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, opposite from A Flame and Fury, I feel like this book is moving along really quickly. It really is such a magical book, and the way that the author describes things is so reminiscent of Stephanie Garber. I also really like our main character. I feel like she has kind of been thrust into this world that she didn't really want, and she is obviously struggling with it while also trying to be optimistic about it, and I feel like it's relatable, the things that she's feeling. Not relatable because I've never been told that I have magic, but just the way that she is trying to be good about being thrust into this new situation. She's trying to stay positive, but all these feelings keep creeping in, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I like both characters. I like the Star Maker. I'm very interested to learn more about him. We're getting these little tidbits here and there as we learn more about him and his life, and I think it says in the inside flap, but there are secrets that he refuses to share, and we're definitely getting a little bit of foreshadowing into that, things that may not be totally as they seem, things that he is kind of leaving unsaid, and so I'm intrigued to see what that is and how it's going to affect not only their relationship, but Aurora's path to becoming the next Star Maker, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Very different feelings from A Flame and Fury, but this one also I think is the perfect Winx Club book because I can honestly, maybe it's just because I made that connection, but I can kind of see some of Stella's feistiness in Aurora. Every time I pick up this book to read, I'm just so happy. The way the world works and the magic is really cool, and so yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I'm guessing I'll end up reading another 100 pages tonight or so I'll probably finish this book in the next couple of days, and then we will be able to move on to Flora's book. I really think that I could finish listening to A Flame and Fury as well in the next couple of days, so we're making good progress. I feel like I got kind of stuck there while I was trying to get through A Flame and Fury, but I'm feeling a lot better about it now. While I was shopping yesterday, I got these new espresso cups and plates that I just think are so fairy. Look at that. It's a little tulip espresso cup. It looks like something a fairy would drink out of. And then this dahlia plate. I feel like it'd be really fun to bake something and then make a little espresso, especially something fun and whimsical that could look like fairy food. So I need to do that. I need to watch a Winx Club episode. So yeah, that's the update. Today is Sunday, and then I'm going to be at the bookstore tomorrow, and I unfortunately have a lot of housekeeping things that I need to do today. I wish I could just do something fun for the vlog, but yeah, there's a lot of cleaning and laundry I need to do today, so that's what I will be doing, and then I will probably talk to you either tonight or tomorrow at the store. Also, speaking of fairy themed things, look at these beautiful Nespresso pods I just got. These are all part of their spring collection. I had these two last year, but I don't know if this one's new or if I just didn't try it last year, but this one is white chocolate strawberry, pistachio vanilla over ice, and then this one is lavender vanilla decaf, and I'm just obsessed with them. The packaging is so beautiful. The pods are also in the kind of marble swirled in their respective colors, and I just love them. I think they're so pretty. Hi guys, it is a little later. I am in my comfy clothes. I have just been doing my laundry and cleaning that I need to do, and while I was doing that, I have actually finished listening to A Flame and Fury. I'm finally done with this book and I'm so happy. I thought I could do my review on this, and then I'm gonna read probably a good amount of Sun and the Star Maker tonight, and I'm happy that I'll be able to just focus on that one. Finished up A Flame and Fury. So I did listen to, I would say, over half of this. Y'all, I don't know where this story went. This was the most random plot. Truly, I feel like nothing happened in this book until the very end, and then everything happened all at once, and I had no idea what was going on, and it was not good pacing. I'm so sorry. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. I almost gave it 2, but I don't know. I just didn't hate it enough to give it 2 stars because, I mean, the ending was crazy. At least it was entertaining. It made 0 sense, but again, at least it was entertaining. But there were still so many things that never panned out. One point of like theory or whatever in this book was that, and this isn't a spoiler because it happens pretty early on in the story, that these phoenixes are like wild magical creatures, and they inhabited the land before humans got there, and humans have basically like domesticated them, and the only way they could do that is to collar them, and the collar puts like a damper onto their magic so they don't burn everything and like explode into a fiery ball and like destroy everything around them. They kind of made it seem like maybe the collars were bad. Phoenixes could actually control themselves without it, because there was this like rebel cult group who were trying to fight for phoenixes to be uncollared, and it happened something early on in the story where Coop and Kel have to like come together to save an uncollared phoenix, and literally after like halfway through this book, that was just dropped. I don't think we ever got a reasoning as to why that was a plot point in this book, unless we did and I just really did not pay attention, because I did kind of speed through the last because everything was going on, and so maybe I missed something. But from what I read, I don't think we ever got an answer as to whether phoenixes should be collared or not. There is this plot twist that happens at the end that I really did not see coming, and I don't feel like it was, actually that's not true. It was set up semi well, but because of this thing that happens, it kind of changes how you feel and how you see previous parts of the story. And I don't know, I did not really enjoy this book, and I'm so sorry to this author. Yeah, I just don't think I can recommend this to you. Don't ever want to be harsh on these books, because it's still an amazing feat for an author to write a book, and this is her debut book, but I also want to be a good reviewer and not just tell you all that I like a book when I don't, and then you read a book and you're like, wow, this book is terrible. Lydia gives bad recommendations. And so yeah, I don't recommend this book. It wasn't for me. One upside is that the cover was really pretty, so that's all I'm gonna say on that. I have a little bit more to do today and tonight, and then I'm going to be reading more in Sun and the Star Maker. I am really excited to just focus on that book because I am enjoying it so much. So yeah, I will either see you tonight or tomorrow with an update. Hi guys, happy Sunday. I finished Sun and the Star Maker last night. Oh my gosh, I literally don't even have words for how beautiful this book was, and it was 5 stars. Only my second 5-star of the year. I have been like itching and praying for another 5-star because I felt like I just couldn't like really love a book, and this one just, it changed that for me. I was only on page like 150, I think, by the time I went to bed last night, or maybe closer to 200, but I ended up reading about 200 pages last night because I just literally could not put it down. Everything that I was wanting to come to fruition did. The romance really started kicking up, and just the amount of like yearning and love and everything in this book, it was so good. And this so easily could have had a sad ending, but like I would have understood where the author was coming from. If it had had a sad ending, it wouldn't have been a 5-star, but it had a happy ending and it had the most beautiful ending in the whole world. This book is just a testament to love and the power of love and falling in love and finding your soulmate, and oh, this book is so good. I need you to pick this up immediately and read this. This book was written for the hopeless romantics. This book is written for those who feel like there's a great love out there waiting for them, and this was just like, this was a story of a great love, and they had to kind of defeat all odds to be together, and they did it. And oh my gosh, it was just so good. It was so good that I want to read it again today. Like, that's how beautiful and magical and wonderful the story was. I will be thinking about this book for a very long time, and oh, Rachel Griffin, thank you. Thank you for this book. Thank you for writing this book. Thank you for making it so beautiful and such a pleasurable read. Perfection. Could not give you a bad thing to say about this book. It was perfect. I loved the characters. I loved the plot. I loved how everything wrapped up together. I cried during this book, like cried full on tears during this book because of how good it was. Like, oh my gosh, it was incredible, and I implore you to read this book right now. You can even click off this video if you want to. If you want to go start it right now, that's fine. Stop it right here. You don't even have to watch me read the next 2 books. Just go and read this book. I don't even know what else to say about it because it was such a beautifully written love story. It pulled on your heartstrings. It was definitely a forbidden love situation. Again, they just defeated all odds to be together and their love prevailed, and oh my gosh, I can't wait until I can reread this. I don't know when that's gonna be, but I would do it right now if I could, because I need to read those other 2 books for this video, but I just want to read this book over and over and over and over again. So that was a very good update. I feel like I just got in such a slump with A Flame and Fury, and I'm so happy to have finished that and to be able to put all of my effort into this book because it was so worth it. And so yeah, I had decided I'm going to make myself a little treat to celebrate my second 5-star of the year, celebrate how good this book was. I have some pink heart cookies that I'm going to make, and then I'm going to use my pink flower plate, my pink little tulip cup that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to do a little treat to celebrate 5 stars. And then we are going to start our next book, which I guess I can just go ahead and intro that one. Alright, so our next Winx Club character and our last fairy for the video is Flora. Flora is the fairy of nature, and so for her book I actually chose a duology. They both have flowers on the cover and in the title, the scorpion and the night blossom and the dragon and the sun lotus. This is like I said, a duology. I believe it's YA, like all these have been. I really liked this one, but this is the second one, and so I figure since it's a duology, it's finished, I might as well just read both. It's not a huge series I have to commit to. Yeah, this is the first one, the scorpion and the night blossom. I almost feel kind of bad for this book because this is gonna have to be pretty spectacular for me to enjoy it after reading Sun and the Star Maker, but I do have hope. And this is about our main character On Ying, and this duology is called the 3 Realms duology, and in this world we have 3 realms: the mortal, immortal, and demon realm. And a few years ago, it says on the inside flap, the demon realm, which is called the Kingdom of the Night, took over the mortal realm and is trying to make their way into the immortal realm. On Ying's father has passed away. Her mother is barely alive, it says, and she's trying to fend for her and her sister while keeping her mother alive. And she decides she's going to enter the immortality trials, which are open to mortals to enter the immortal realm, and if she wins, she's granted a pill of eternal life which will heal her mother. And it says that she finds that someone is helping her stay alive, a rival contestant who is secretive about his past and his motives for protecting An Ying. It says she'll need to figure out whether she can truly trust the stranger she's falling for, or if he's the most dangerous player of all for herself and for all the realms. So this author, it says, was born in Paris and grew up in Beijing, but then she attended college in the States and now lives in New York. I want to say this book is based off of Chinese legends, if I'm correct, or there's some sort of maybe Chinese mythology within this book. I know that nothing will come close to this because this is like 1,000,000 stars, but hopefully I will enjoy this one as well. I'm just gonna have to put Sun and the Star Maker out of my brain for a little bit, and maybe my treat will be that I can reread that after I finish this one and the next one. So I'm going to make my little treat to celebrate our newest 5-star read, and then I'm going to start reading this book, and I will keep you updated, of course. Before I get on with the rest of my day, I did just read about 40 pages, so I have a little bit of an update for you. I understand the world, I think, a little bit better. We're getting more of that world building in the beginning. So, like I said, there are 3 realms, and An Ying is what is called a mortal practitioner, which means that she possesses spirit energy, and it's basically like the magic system of their world. So she's not as powerful as an immortal, but she is powerful for a mortal girl. Her father was a practitioner, and her father actually competed in the immortal trials, which is how she knows about them. He lived in the immortal realm for a little bit, and she doesn't know a ton about his past. We're kind of getting that he has left some things unsaid. He had his own secrets before he passed away, and basically what happens is that the Mo, which are the demons in this realm, the Mo can drink your soul or eat your soul. There was a Mo who broke into An Ying's family house and tried to eat her mother's soul, but only ate half of it, and instead her father tried to save her, and her father ended up passing away instead. So her mom is living in this kind of vegetative state, special flower that An Ying can harvest and steep into a tea, and it has kept her mother alive, but she knows her mother's soul will never be fixed until she takes the pill of immortality, and it only happens every so often. And so An Ying has been living like this, I think it said, for 9 years, and now she is finally getting the chance to go and travel to the immortal realm. And she has these blades that her father gave her, are almost like conduits for her power. I think it says she has 5 of them, and she basically infuses a little bit of her magic or her spirit energy into the blades. They're all basically, I don't know what the word is, but like inscripted to do different things. So she has one called Shield, which shields her from the Mo's magic. She has one called Fleet, which makes her be able to run faster, and other things like that. So it's a really interesting magic system, and for the first 40 pages I feel like a lot has happened. We've really gotten to understand the world, and she's already on her way to the immortal realm. Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's moving very fast, which I much appreciate. I want to give you that little update that I feel like I got a lot of good world building in the first 40 pages, and she's literally already on her way to the immortal trials. So things are moving. It's really grasped my attention, which is good. I thought I would kind of struggle after Sun the Star Maker, but it's a very interesting magic system, so we will see. It is already 2 o'clock. We have been so busy today, very randomly busy on a weekday, but I always love that. So I haven't had a lot of time to read and or film, but I am going to read in Scorpion and the Night Blossom. I am really enjoying this, like, so much. I think the world is so beautiful and magical. I love all the descriptions of the different realms. I'm really starting to connect with the characters. Yu Chen is like my favorite. I am obsessed with him. I have a couple of theories and like guesses on things that are going to happen, so we'll see if I'm right on those or not. But Anying has made it to the immortal realm and she is now entered into the trials. She's starting to make friends with the other candidates, and I'm starting to really enjoy seeing those side characters. And yeah, I'm loving it. One moment. Nadine West Book Company, how may I help you? What was I saying? I don't know, but I'm really enjoying this. There is another love interest that is being introduced, and I'm not really feeling that other love interest, and so I'm really hoping that Yu Chen stays the main love interest, but we will see. It's so funny because I was really struggling at the beginning differentiating between the names, and I know that's just because obviously I don't speak Chinese. I don't see words in this format very often, and so for some reason I just could not differentiate between a few of them. Yu Chen and Yan Lu are two main characters, and I could not remember which one was which, and it got me wondering, if you are a reader and English is your second language or you're not a native English speaker, do you have trouble differentiating between different English names? Because I feel like it's probably the same for other languages in English. I could see where like Olive and Olivia would be hard to differentiate if there were two characters in a book named that, or like John and Jack. Do you ever get those confused, or am I just stupid and I can't keep these names straight? I don't know. This book is also reminding me of K-pop Demon Hunters, and obviously this book is written by a Chinese author and that's Korean, but it's the way that they keep describing the Mo or the demons as being so beautiful, and like in my mind when I'm reading about them, I'm picturing the little K-pop demons from K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm also picturing everyone as characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like Yu Chen is Zuko in my brain. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's flowing really well. I feel like she's a great storyteller, keeping me engaged even when like crazy things aren't happening, just because I'm growing to really like the characters and I want to see how their stories end up. So really enjoying this. I'm gonna read for a little bit. I actually have Mahjong tonight, which is so exciting. I am obsessed with Mahjong. I play in a league once a week, and then if I can play extra times I will, and so tonight is a little extra time at a boutique in town, and I'm going with my brother's girlfriend and we're going to play Mahjong, so I'm really excited about that. But that's the plan for today. I just want to give you a little update. I'm really enjoying this book. I don't know if it'll be a 5-star. I feel like I won't be lucky enough to get 2 5-stars in a row, but I think it'll be for sure a 4-star and probably like a high 4-star, but we'll see. Good morning everyone, happy Tuesday. I have not talked to you since yesterday at the bookstore. I ended up having some people come into the store, and then I read a bunch, and then I had Mahjong, and then I read a bunch last night, and I finished Scorpion and the Night Blossom. I just really enjoyed this. I am so excited that I decided to do these two together because I can't wait to read this one. This is The Dragon and the Sun Lotus, and so this is the second part of this duology, and I really enjoyed it. It's not a 5-star, and I can't give you an exact reason as to why it's not a 5-star other than maybe I can. I'm really struggling on figuring out how to talk about this without just spoiling the whole series for you, because I feel like I want you to read this, and I feel like I will end up recommending you to read this book. So what can I say? Part of the story is that An Ying, like I mentioned, her father passed away. He kind of left her as a protector of the family. He taught her what he knew of the magic and how to use it to be a practitioner, and he gave her this jade pendant that kind of helped her along through learning how to protect her family from the Mo and all that stuff. And the jade pendant speaks to her, and we kind of know from the beginning that it's someone on the other side of the jade pendant sending her messages. We meet that person, and that person becomes a second love interest, and I am really not feeling that part. I guess it is kind of the love triangle, and I'm really not feeling that part of the love triangle. I really am feeling the other way, and then something happens at the end, the big twist, and someone betrays someone else. It sets off the next book really well. Like, you want to immediately go into the next book, and I think because I'm not feeling that one side of the love triangle, that's probably why this wasn't a 5-star. But other than that, I really loved it. So I think this is a 4.5. I think I'm gonna stick with 4.5 because I loved the world. I loved the magic system. I feel like you really grow to love the characters. Some things that I guessed I got right, and some things that I guess I got wrong. So I was like 50-50 on my theories, which was pretty good. And so I am gonna start this today. For the rest of the video, I just don't know how I can talk about this book without spoiling this one. So I don't know how to do that. I'm going to try to give you updates on this one without spoiling it, and then I think I'm going to include a spoiler section at the very end. If you have already read this book, or if you don't think you would read this book and you just want to know what happened, I think I am going to do it like that. So I'm going to try to explain my feelings about this book as best as I can without spoiling it, and then maybe include a spoiler section. I feel like I'm going to finish this book really quickly because I just really want to know. I'm going to start reading this book. I'm really excited about it. I hope this goes well. If it goes the way I want it to go, I think it's going to be a 5-star. If it goes the way I don't want it to go, I feel like I'm going to really not enjoy it. But obviously that's personal preference. Hi guys, I feel like I haven't moved from this spot since I talked to you all this morning, and honestly I really haven't, because I am already halfway through this book. I literally can't stop reading it, and this is going to be a 5-star if a certain thing happens and a certain thing doesn't happen. It's gonna be a 5-star. It's so good. I feel like I'm kind of at a turning point, which is why I literally can't put it down, and there's definitely something that can happen that's either going to ruin the story or it's going to be perfect and it's gonna be a 5-star. So I just feel like I'm so into this, and I will probably finish it tonight. If I start reading early enough in the night, I think I will finish it. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow. But I'm just like, please do not ruin this book. Part of me feels like it's gonna be too good to be true, and she's actually not gonna do what I want her to do. So how can I tell you about this without spoiling it? In the first book, we know that we have a war between the mortal, demon, and immortal realms, and part of this book actually takes place in the demon realm. I can't tell if this is gonna be like a redemption kind of thing, because we are basically taught in the first book that demons are evil and they're hunting mortals and immortals and trying to take over everything, and then we're spending a little bit more time in the demon realm, and I can't tell if they're gonna be redeemed or not. Again, there is a love triangle happening, and right now it's leaning the way that I want it to, but I almost feel like something is going to change, and something that has happened previously is gonna be too good to be true. And yeah, I'm really struggling trying to talk about this. And so our first book leaves off in kind of this like chaotic moment. Everything is just thrown into chaos, and this book is kind of trying to rectify that a little bit, and we see more happening with An Ying and her family. Everything that An Ying does is for her family, and so we see a little bit of that as well, and then her kind of expanding her group to include the side characters that she got close with in the first book. Something has happened in this book that I love. Someone died, and I was really happy that he was dead, not because he was a bad character, but because of a reason that I can't tell you, and I don't think that he's actually dead. I think it was a misdirect. Is that a spoiler? I don't know, because I don't know for sure if he's dead, but I kind of feel like he's not dead. This book is called The Dragon and the Sun Lotus because there was something... I literally don't know how to talk about this without spoiling it for you. This is so difficult. I'm gonna have to have a spoiler section at the end of this because I'm gonna have things to say and I need to be able to explain it to you as to why I'm feeling this way, but it's so hard to explain without spoiling it, like I've said 1,400 times. So yeah, I am like eating this book up, can't stop reading it. It's been great because we haven't been super busy today. I mean, not great that we're not busy, but it's been good for my reading journey that we haven't been super busy today. And then I haven't had any deliveries like merch or books today, so I've really just had time to sit here and read, and oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I'm like, this is so close to being a 5-star. As long as something happens and something doesn't happen, this is going to be a 5-star. So yeah, halfway through, as you can see I'm on page 200. That is the plan. Someone's coming in the store, so talk to you later. Hi guys, it is the next day. I have finished The Dragon and the Sun Lotus and it is time to do my final reviews. I'm so sad because what I was worrying about happening did happen, and it just really ruined the story for me, and so I ended up giving this book 3 stars, and I'm so sad about it because if things had panned out the way I wanted them to, this would have been 5 stars, and it just wasn't. And I didn't know if I was being too hard on the book, and so after I finished it last night, I went on Goodreads and I started reading other people's reviews, and I felt very justified in my opinions because everyone else said or had the same opinion as I did and were upset about the same parts of the book that I did or that I was, and so I just, yeah, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I understand why the author did the things she did, but it didn't work for me, and it didn't work for a lot of other people that I read their reviews on Goodreads, and so yeah, this was 3 stars and I'm so sad, and I just really thought I was gonna get another 5-star, but I kind of figured that was too good to be true. So yeah, that was my final review. I want to talk about this book, and so if you haven't read this book, click off here. Just know that I do recommend this series because even though I didn't like the way that the plot went, I still just enjoyed being in the story so much. It was a really magical world. I enjoyed the world building, I enjoyed the magic system, and I enjoyed the characters up to a certain part, and yeah, it was just a really interesting book, and I really enjoyed my time in it until the very end, so I still would recommend you read this if you're a fantasy lover. I loved it until I didn't, so I would recommend you read this book. So if you haven't, I will say goodbye for now. I'm going to start talking about spoilers, so I'm going to give you a second to click off. Just know that I recommend this book. Click off if you want to read it because I'm going to spoil it. Starting now, okay? Go. Starting now. This book, it ended up being a love triangle between our main character An Ying, Yu Chen, and this new character named Hao Yang, and I really apologize if I'm saying those names wrong. I tried to look it up, but I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. It ended up being a love triangle between those 3, and the reason why I struggled so much with this book was because Hao Yang was her guardian in the jade pendant, and I think I talked about that a little bit, where her father gave her a jade pendant right before he passed, and there was someone that she could talk to through it who really helped her throughout her formative years. They would help her like learn how to fish and learn how to take care of her family, and he's the one that told her about the immortality trials and the pill of immortality to help save her mother. And so when we meet that character, I couldn't tell if he was being introduced as a love interest or not because their relationship felt just more familial, almost like siblings, and honestly they kind of ended up being slightly siblings because we find out that An Ying's real mother was an immortal, and so An Ying is actually half mortal, half immortal, and she has all of this like power within her. Her mother was actually Hao Yang's adoptive mother, and so that part got a little murky, and I think the author wanted us to feel more for Hao Yang than we actually did, and that's the part that I felt more justified on my opinion because so many people on Goodreads said the same thing, and one person said we didn't see that relationship develop. All of their relationship and all of their interactions with each other, so much of it happened before the story began, and so we were more told that they had a good relationship rather than shown. But with Yu Chin, which was the other side, we see him like yearning for her, and especially in this book when we get his POV, and I just couldn't understand why she would have made An Ying end up with Hao Yang if we got Yu Chin's POV. Like, we saw Yu Chin would have burned down the world for this girl. All he wanted in his life was to protect her. Her whole issue with him was that Yu Chin was actually, he was also a halfling, so he was half mortal, half Mo, and that should have been like a point to bond over, but really An Ying just judged him so much for his Mo side, which obviously he couldn't control, and I just felt like she really did him dirty in this book, and he did not deserve what she did to him. She leaves him at one point, and they kind of get their happy ending because at some point, like way in the future, let me back up. She ends up killing Yu Chin because his blood is what is able to open the portal between the mortal and Mo realm, and that's why the Mo are able to come into the mortal realm. And so it ends up that the only way for that to close is to kill him, and so she kills him. She lives her life with Hao Yang. They have kids, they live a full life, and then way in the future, after Hao Yang is already gone because he was mortal and An Ying ends up being half mortal half immortal, she lives a lot longer than him. Yu Chin ends up reincarnating, and then they like get to be together. And so I just felt so bad for Yu Chin through this entire book. Like, he deserved so much better than An Ying, and he deserved so much better for this story, and it was heartbreaking. And a lot of people in their reviews said the same thing, that they wanted him to have a better ending than he did. And so that was my biggest issue with this book. It was that by the end, he was my favorite character, and he was the one that got the worst straw out of it. He was the one that got the worst ending, and these horrible things that happened to him. And so it was sad to read because I wanted him to have the happy ending, and he didn't get that. So that was my biggest issue with this book. And I think the reason why I gave it 3 stars is because we spend so much time trying to make An Ying and Hao Yang. We spent so much time on their relationship, and I just could not connect to them as a couple at all. And so it was very hard to read, and it wasn't what I wanted to happen. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this fun reading vlog. I just can't believe that I found a 5-star for this year. That makes me so happy. And like I said, I still would recommend you read this book if you were bad and just listen to the spoilers without reading it. It's still worth reading because it's still a good story, and it's so well written. Like, she is a great storyteller in her own right. I just didn't like the choices that she made in the plot. So thank you all for watching this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you soon with my March reading wrap up, and yeah, I will see you in that next video very soon. Bye!